Okay, this 2002 Nissan Exterra, long cranking time, part 2. My camera just shut off for some reason, so I had to make part 2. But what I was saying is, this hose right here that go directly to the fuel pump, right? Let me see if I can show it to you. Yeah, right there. This hose right here that goes directly to the fuel pump, it's supposed to have an O-ring inside of the connector. It's on my camera. See that? It didn't have one on there, so I put one on there. Somebody had took it out, or had replaced his fuel pump, and when the customer bought this car from the owner was telling him that it had a hard time starting. It takes 5 to 8 seconds sometime to start. So I believe that the owner changed the fuel pump and the fuel sending unit also, and lost the O-ring and the plastic ring that goes on top of it, which is this little piece right here. I don't know if you need this little piece, but I found out it goes on top of it, and it seals the the fuel from spraying back out. So how I found out was when I had the fuel pump still in there, or not the fuel pump, but this fuel sending unit still in there, I plugged this back in, and I plugged this connector back onto the fuel that's going into the engine or into an injector. Plug it back in. You can leave this unplugged. This is the return. And then I had a friend of mine turn the key on while I'm looking at it, and sure enough, the fuel was shooting out of this fitting. They have a locking tab that the fitting go in. I'll show you on the fuel return, not fuel return, but fuel sending unit. Okay, this is the fuel sending unit. Like I said before, it come in two pieces. The fuel pump sit at the bottom, the tank, and this one actually mount onto the top of the tank. This is the fuel sending unit, and underneath there's two fitting right here. I broke it off. I broke one fitting off, which the one that goes to the injector, because it was hard to take this clamp off. This white clamp right here actually go over it. It goes into this fitting, so that way when the hose connect to it, it locks it down. But at the same time, you're supposed to have an O-ring at the bottom, so that way it seals the fuel from spraying everywhere. Well, I took it out the first time and I was successfully got it out, but I put the O-ring in the wrong place. I put the O-ring in here instead of inside the hose, so it was still leaking. So I took it back out, and when I was trying to take it out, I pried it too hard, and it broke this nipple, which sits right there. So I have to get another one from Advanced Auto. They charged me $67, and this is the connector that the fuel pump connect to. Then on top, you got that electrical connector from the harness that plug into here. Then of course you have, like I said, see that arrow? That's where the fuel's going out, to the injector, and this is just a return line. So this is the one that you have to worry about not leaking. And sure enough, when I looked underneath and with the key on, it was just spraying fuel everywhere, so it wasn't holding pressure. And before you change everything else, because it is a pain to do on this car, it is not easy. Just check, make sure that you don't have fuel leak when you turn the key on and the fuel pump start priming. That's the easy way to do it if you don't have a fuel gauge. But if you don't see any fuel spraying out, and everything's good, then the other part is could be your fuel pump. That's the check ball inside the fuel pump is not working right, and also the fuel regulator to actually check the fuel regulator. It's kind of complicated to do because it's mount behind the intake manifold, but you could uh, disconnect that vacuum hose and let the car run maybe 5-10 minutes, see the fuel spraying out. So try that. If you don't see any fuel spraying out from the fuel regulator, then the next thing is probably your fuel pump that's going bad. Not the fuel pump itself, but actually the check ball inside the fuel pump. So hopefully this video will help. I'm sorry my camera cut off while I was trying to film, so I had to make part 2. But if you have any question, if I can help, just send me a comment and I'll reply back to you. Alright, hope this helped. Thank you.